Hi, have an open bottle of wine and wondering how long it'll last? That's a question we get pretty often here at Elma Wine and Liquor. My name is Tim. I am from Elma Wine and Liquor, and I'm here to answer questions that we get quite frequently. If you have any other topics or ideas that you'd like us to address, please let us know. And thank you very much for everybody that's commented and given us feedback on our earlier videos. So, people often ask when they buy a bottle of wine, how long will this last for once I open it? For the most part, the usual answer is a couple days. It does depend a little bit on the type of wine it is and how big of a bottle. But the standard, usually for a red wine, 2 to 3 days maximum. A white wine, you can go a little bit longer, especially if you're keeping it in a refrigerator. One piece of equipment that'll help you keep it a little bit longer and keep it tasting fresher longer is a vacuum sealer. You pick them up at any grocery store, pretty much, Target, things like that. You put the rubber in and you just suck the oxygen out of it. Oxygen is our enemy when it comes to wine. It makes the wine, it oxidizes the wine, it ruins the flavors, and eventually turns it to vinegar. So you want to avoid oxygen as much as possible for the most part. Some wines, when you open them, you do want them to get oxidized a little bit. You want to aerate them or decant them so they get more exposure to oxygen before you drink them. Those would be typically a little bit higher end wines or wines that have been aged longer in barrels or in the bottle before you're drinking them. So red wines, 2 to 3 days usually. You might get a little bit more life out of it if you use a vacuum sealer or if you keep it in the fridge. White wines, you can get away 4 or 5 days with keeping it in the fridge and keeping it sealed tightly. That's it for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please leave us your questions and comments and feedback below, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.